What up, what up, what up? Ladies and gents, boys and girls, you are now tuned in to a brand new episode of Sportsway with WNBA Podcast. I am your host with the most, the Hood's ESPN, Crystal Street's very own, Dre. What's up, what's up, what's up? Once again, thank you to everybody for your continued support on my YouTube channel. Keep it going, keep it growing, keep it flowing. Of course, all I ask that y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, Sportsway with Dre Podcast. Hit that like button as you come on in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All that good shit. Y'all see the title for this. This episode here is plain and simple. The WNBA is back in effect after the Olympic break. So there's a couple of things that I'm going to put into this one episode. I'm not going to do the one necessary topic and then just put it out there in the algorithm. I'm going to put everything in this one episode. So hopefully it's about a good 20 minutes of my time that y'all will appreciate. First thing is this. There's some teams that are striking very light right now, very hard right now, as we are embarking on the WNBA playoffs, which I think is going to start, I want to say in September. I think the WNBA playoffs starts in, late September, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but some teams are striking right now while the pot is hot. And one of those teams just happens to be the Minnesota Lynx. Since the All-Star break, they are now 5-0. They have not lost since coming back from Olympic break. 2 of those wins are against the reigning defending champs, the Las Vegas Aces, which puts them 3-0 against the Aces for the whole season. I'm not sure if they play them again during the season, but right now, obviously, they won the season matchup with the Las Vegas Aces, and all 3 of the wins have been convincing wins, I might add. So Minnesota is looking like a premier threat right now to the Las Vegas Aces if they were somehow to meet in the playoffs. Napheesa Collier, listen, early in the season, she was my MVP. Then, obviously, when she got hurt, that just opened the door for A'ja Wilson to fuck around and win unanimous MVP, which I think is still going to be the case. But this just tells you the way Collier is playing. Had she not got hurt, she might be MVP right now. She might be MVP right now because even though A'ja is having an historic career, an historic season, so is Collier because she's averaging career highs in every statistical category. And her team has the better record than the Aces. So I would give the edge to her. But being that she lost so many games, it's only right that A'ja Wilson wins MVP, and I wouldn't be surprised if she gets unanimous MVP. But yeah, Minnesota is just doing their damn thing right now. They're striking right now while the pot is hot. They are one of the 4 teams who have clinched playoff berths. The Liberty was the first team to clinch. The Connecticut Sun clinched over the weekend when they beat the Liberty. In fact, that was their first win against the Liberty this season. So kudos to them for that, for finally beating the New York Liberty this season. Who was the other team? Oh, Minnesota. And I think it's another team, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 4 teams that have clinched playoff berths, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just check real quick. Oh, no, it's only 3 teams. Minnesota, New York, and Connecticut. Those are the only three teams that have clinched playoff berths. Now, I'm quite sure Vegas and Seattle is coming right behind that. Like, if the playoffs started today, I think that series would be very interesting with Las Vegas and Seattle because those two teams will be the teams butting heads in that first round. So that'll be a dope matchup. But we got plenty of time to see what happens. But another team that's playing very well, the Indiana Fever. Yes, you heard me right. The Indiana Fever. Yes. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, the ball hog. yeah. Indiana right now is playing some amazing basketball. I honestly believe that Olympic break was the best thing to happen for them. I don't know what they did on their break. Obviously, I follow them on social media. I know they did a lot of practicing. They did a little miniature golfing. They did a lot of top golf. They did wiffle ball, baseball. They did all that shit. Like, they just did stuff as a team to build that camaraderie. And right now, it's showing on the basketball court. The only loss that they have since the Olympic break was against the Minnesota Lynx. But they lost to the Minnesota Lynx. That's one of the top teams in the league. So I'm not going to poo-poo them from losing to them. Now, if they would have lost to, like, the Mystics or the Sparks or Dallas, who was looking for a lottery pick, oh, yeah, I would have had an issue with that. But losing to the Lynx, I'm not going to poo-poo you on that. But Indiana is looking very good right now. They just beat the Atlanta Dream last night. But I will say this, though. There was a play in that game that I have to speak on. And it has to do with Caitlin Clark. For me, it was a flagrant. Not only do I think it was a flagrant, who knows? It might have been a flagrant to where she got kicked out the game. Possibly suspended. But me being a sports fanatic and me just seeing everything for what it is as it pertains to the WNBA, they're not going to do nothing with this play. They're not going to do nothing with this play. I'm actually anxious to see what TV shows, what sports shows is going to talk about this. I want to see if Get Up is going to talk about this. I want to see if First Take is going to speak about it. I want to see if First Things First is going to speak about it. I want to see if Sports Center talks about it. I want to see if Speak talks about it. I'm waiting to see if these sports shows are going to speak about that flagrant foul that Caitlin Clark put on Jordan Canada in that game last night against the Atlanta Dream. Because clearly it was a flagrant. Now, yes, do I think she did it intentionally? Of course not. Of course not. I just think that, she was trying to, make a play, make a block, but unfortunately, it was some unnecessary contact to Jordan Canada's head. And in that situation, you have to call a flagrant foul. Because guess what? When Kennedy Carter did it to her, they called the foul. Flagrant foul. When Angel Reese did it to her, they called the flagrant foul. So now that Caitlin has done it to somebody else, I think it's only right it should have been called a flagrant foul or possibly an ejection. Because we know she's not going to get suspended. We know that for a fact. Like, let's say they would have reviewed it, and let's say she got ejected. They damn sure wasn't going to suspend her. And the reason they wasn't going to suspend her is because where Indiana right now is in the standings, they are holding on tight to that 7th seed in the WNBA playoffs. I'm not sure if they'll catch Phoenix for number 6, even though I do think they're probably 2 or 3 games behind. I don't think they're going to catch them. So they're holding on tight to that 7th seed. Could you imagine what would happen if Caitlin Clark got suspended for a game and then they just, started losing? Them Caitlin Clark stands will lose their mind. They will lose their mind. If you thought what they did at Capitol Hill for Trump or something, Imagine what her fans would do if she got ejected for that one game. But I digress. At the end of the day, Indiana is playing good so far. They're playing real good so far, and everybody is balling. Listen, I have a love-hate relationship for Kelsey Mitchell. Do I think she's a baller? Absolutely. Do I think she's one of them dogs on the court? Absolutely. But I do believe she's a ball hawk. And if you just watch the game, you can see it. It's like as soon as she get that ball, her initial reaction is to pull up. It's not to look for a teammate. The only time she's looking to pass it to a teammate is if she's trapped. Other than that, if she got that ball and the court is, and it's a lot of space on the floor for her to do something, y'all might as well just go down there and try to get the rebound because she's not going to pass the ball. That's clear as day. Clear as day. But she's hooping though. I'm not going to hold you. She is hooping. So I'm not going to hold you. She is hooping. I got to speak on this. And it's going to hurt me to do this because I am a huge fan of hers. I have been watching her since I was younger. Again, I've been watching the WNBA since its existence in 1997. When you think of this woman, you think of one of the GOATs. You understand what I'm saying? Cheryl Swoops. I have to have a word with you. The way you are just hating on Caitlin Clark has just been downright pathetic. It really has. Now, you've been on Gil's Arena a couple of times, shortchanging Caitlin Clark. But what you did recently, I gotta pull you to the fire for this one. Now again, Indiana has been winning their games. Yes, they have. But I want to read a quote that Cheryl Swoops said on her podcast. She has her own podcast, Queens of the Court podcast. It's a fitting name because she's definitely one of the queens of the court in the WNBA. I forgot exactly when she did this, but it was definitely recently after the Olympic break. And this is what she said. I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to give a shout out to Lexi Hall. I'm a big Lexi Hall fan. Were you? Did you follow her at Stanford? I'm not sure if I believe that. Lexi Hall shot the leather off the board in their game against Seattle. So maybe it was the game against Seattle. Maybe she said this. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She is just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. If Indiana continues to play the way they're playing, like this, they too are going to move up in the standings. Now, I asked all of y'all this question that are watching this. What was the name that was not mentioned in that? That would happen to be Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark, I'm not going to go through her stats, but I think right now the Rookie of the Year race is probably almost over. It's probably almost over. And I think the edge is leaning towards Caitlin Clark right now because if you look at where Chicago and Indiana are in the standings, as much as Angel Reese is putting up amazing numbers, she done had three straight 20 rebound games. All the double-doubles that she's had this season. Yes. But what Caitlin is doing for this Indiana team, and then to think where they was last year, they already surpassed more wins this season than they did last year. Hence to why they were the number one pick in the draft. I think right now it's clear cut that Caitlin Clark is Rookie of the Year. And for Cheryl Swoops, who is a legend in the WNBA, 4 championships with the Comets. She has the MVPs, one of the trendsetters for the WNBA. Hell, women's basketball, period. For being the first woman in the sport to have her own shoe. And for you to be constantly disrespecting Caitlin Clark is just baffling to me. How can you give Indiana that much credit and just forget about Caitlin Clark? That's like me watching the Jackson 5 have these amazing performances, and I say, yo, look at Jermaine and Tito working that guitar. Look at Jackie up there being the big brother and just having a damn good time. And forget all about Michael. How that sound? How does that even look? I'm going to be deemed as a hater. And Sheryl Swoopes right now, that's what you're looking like. You're looking like a hater. Now, for the average fan out there, they may not know who you are. But I know who you are because I've been following you since when you was in college basketball, when you was playing at Texas Tech. That's how far back I go. I've always loved you. I've always revered you. But on this one, thumbs down. You got to do better. Because what I also didn't like was, yes, Indiana just had their one recent loss. You gave Indiana their props, and you left her out. But then Angel Reese had a 20-point game, got shit beat down her leg, and you still shouted her out for a 20-point rebound, for a 20-rebound game. Like, I get it. You love Angel Reese. Clearly, you are pro Angel Reese as it pertains to when they put these two together. I'm a firm believer in you can like both of them. You don't have to be one of these people that, oh, if you like Caitlin, you gotta hate Angel Reese. Or if you like Angel Reese, you gotta hate Caitlin Clark. I love both of them. I'm pro both of them. But clearly in this situation with Sheryl Swoopes, she's pro Angel Reese, anti Caitlin Clark, and I just think it's wrong. There's no way you are going to give Indiana their flowers for what they've done since the Olympic break and leave Caitlin Clark out that quote. I just don't understand that. And I don't get it. Honestly, don't get it. But on a different note, I got to give a shout out to Maya Moore. Congratulations to Maya Moore. She had her number retired over the weekend at the Target Center in Minnesota. Rightfully so. Her number 23 went up in the Raptors with Rebecca Bronson, with Sylvia Fowles, with Simone Augustus. I'm quite sure Lindsay Whaling's number is up there too, so it's only right that Maya Moore has her number hung up in the Raptors as well. Obviously, she might be the greatest player in the history of the Lynx. Obviously, for those of y'all that don't know, Maya Moore is definitely one of the GOATs of the WNBA. She cut her career short to do social issues. She, helped a man get out of jail for being falsely accused of a crime that he didn't commit, befriended him while he was in jail, got him out of jail, got married to him, wrote a book, bestseller, the whole 9 yards, and now she came back to Minnesota over the weekend where she played her whole career and got her number retired. So it's only right. Me as a fan of hers, it's still bittersweet that she's not playing, because I believe she can still play. I believe she still has game. Again, when you think of the GOATs of the WNBA, you cannot have that conversation and do not have it without Maya Moore being mentioned. Because if you do, I have to question your knowledge. I just have to. So for this particular one, I definitely had to shout Maya Moore out. I could not leave that out of this episode. But once again, congratulations to Maya Moore on having your number retired. I mean, hell, you wear 23. Obviously, we know where you got that from. You got it from MJ. And you're also a Jordan ambassador, I'll say. You know, you always wearing the J's. I think the Jordan brand actually greeted her with some gold sneakers at the ceremony and stuff like that. So yes, once again, congratulations to Maya Moore. But that's it. It's a wrap for this episode. Again, I tried to say I was trying to keep it within 15 to 20 minutes. What I wanted to touch base on, I was able to touch base on. So y'all hit me up in them comments and tell me about that Caitlin Clark situation. Do y'all think she should have been ejected or a flagrant one foul? Okay? Tell me what y'all think in them comments. Is Cheryl Swoops being a hater towards Caitlin Clark? Tell me in them comments what you think about that. But once again, thank y'all for y'all continued support. Keep it going, keep it growing, keep it flowing. Once again, I implore y'all, I ask y'all, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Sportswear with Dre Day Podcast. Hit that bell, hit that notification button, so once the episode is uploaded to YouTube, you will immediately, well, I'm not sure you would immediately get a notification, but somewhere along the line, you'll get a notification that your boy dropped the episode. So once again, share this episode, tell a friend to tell a friend, all that good stuff. In closing, y'all know how this goes. This has been another episode of Sportswear with Dre Day Podcast. So once again, thank y'all for y'all continued support. Keep it going, keep it growing, keep it flowing. I catch y'all on the flip side. God bless. Peace and love. Your boy is out of here. Peace.